A number of years ago, when I was associated with the college, the year after I resigned as vice president and started my consulting firm, I had a wonderful time teaching an undergraduate course in nonprofit management. And during that time, I was reading a book by Peter Drucker, the management consultant, on nonprofits, small book. And there was one passage that has been very important to me in my conversations with clients. And it was a paragraph where he made the observation that the point in an organization's history where they're most likely to get into serious financial trouble is when they've received an unexpected influx of a very large amount of money. What a powerful statement. That basically, when nonprofits get into trouble, it's often after they get a very large gift. Joan, I have run into that so many times that it's something that, particularly with small nonprofits, I will start off a consulting contract with saying, are you ready for the large gift? And the reason I say that is I have had experience over and over again where organizations were not. And what occurs, particularly for organizations that have struggled, they get a bequest. It's often a bequest, say a $500,000 bequest. You're an organization that's operating on a $1 million budget.
Sure.
And you get this large influx of money. And so what do? The executive director is very excited and he can hire the staff person that he could never afford. The board looks at it and says, we've got this money, we can start this program. So they go out and they do what is for us is the equivalent of a teenager gets a lot of money and they go out and they spend it on a car that they can't afford the gas for. It's something that organizations can prepare for, and that's that concept of making space for the unexpected gift. And here's how they can prepare for it. One, it's a board responsibility. This is the decision that should not rest with staff. It should rest with the board. The board needs to put into place policies that says, if we get a large unrestricted gift above a certain level, this is how we will address it. I recommend addressing it by saying the use of that gift is a board decision. It's not a staff decision. It's not something that can muddle up the annual fund. It's not something that they're free to go out and hire staff. And I recommend that they look at it and say one of two things. Either a large gift will be allocated in such a way that it's spread out over a number of years and used, or, and this is my preference, it's set aside in either establishing a 6-month reserve fund, which all nonprofits should have minimum, or establishing an endowment. Because both endowments and reserve funds are designed to help organizations in their long-term financial planning. And so you have a situation where you control the funds rather than the funds control you. There's also another aspect of this in terms of making space available for the unexpected large gift. If you don't have in place vehicles for knowing how you're going to use a large gift, what impact a large gift is going to have on your organization, then what is conveyed to those potential donors of those large gifts is that you're not ready. I remember a situation with a client where I had a sort of a private conversation with a potential donor. And we were talking sort of around this issue. And he said, what would they do with a large gift? I said, what do you mean? $1 million. And I went to the executive director at the time and I said, what would you do if you got $1 million gift? This was a pretty small nonprofit. And he said, boy, I'd have to really think about that. And I said, you need to plan for that. You need to be able to absorb a gift at that level in a creative, thoughtful way, because otherwise you're not going to attract those large gifts. There's not space for those large gifts because sophisticated donors are going to try to match the gift with what is appropriate for you. And so you are not an organization currently that are going to attract donors that can make large investments in your institution. That organization has moved forward in developing that space for large gifts, both in terms of being able to use them responsibly, but they now have programs that they can manage effectively and that they can be good stewards of large gifts. And those large gifts are now coming.
And I think donors with the potential to give large gifts watch an organization who receives an unexpected large gift, a bequest, and watches the process that the board undertakes. I've worked with organizations where bequests filled deficit holes. And I've often had to say, I don't think that's what that person intended for their life's work, the result of their life's work to do was to fill a black hole of deficit. They intended for it to provide financial security or to move programming forward in a way that benefits the community.
And if that word gets out,
absolutely,
that pushes away other people because they say, this is not a partnership that is going to have a meaningful benefit to the people I care about.
I can find somewhere else.
I can find somewhere else that is going to be a better steward of my resources.
It's an important issue.
Very important, very important.